I wonder if they see the sparkle in your eyes. I wonder if they know that I'm not your guy. I wonder if they see that you don't belong to me. Wish that you could be mine.
Hey, what up, everyone? We are here, Therapy Without a Degree. Believe this is chapter 233 or 234, one of those. We in the 200s, though. You guys already know myself, Joe Fiucarino, is in the building, in the studio. We here, and then we got a very special guest. All right, what's going on, yo? We got Susan in the building.
Hi, everybody. How's it going? Thank you for having me.
Of course, yo. Thank you for coming through.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
I was going to say, I don't know if we should call you Christina today or if we should just call you Susan.
Right.
I don't know, because if you guys have been following Therapy Without a Degree and seen the series, this is the actress that played Christina. All right, episode 3. She killed that shit. But how you been, yo?
Been very, very good. You know, I've been doing my thing, been keeping busy as I can, and just loving everything that's been happening and the results of the podcast and the series in general. Yeah. Just seeing it all just come to life and just seeing your visions come to life. It's beautiful and it's rewarding, you know?
Word, thank you, yo. Yeah, no, you killed that shit. You rocked it, yo.
Thank you.
It was fun, and it's crazy how time flies. That shit was we filmed it already a year ago.
Yeah. Yeah, and it doesn't feel like, it feels like almost longer than that, but at the same time, it feels like almost yesterday too. So it's like, oh, we were like, even just like coming here, I was like, oh, wow, we out here again.
Yep, exactly. Yo, we're going to use this place as much as we can.
Absolutely.
As many films as possible.
As you should.
We're going to get creative and try to use it as many spots as we fucking can.
Yeah.
Amber, Sanctuary, Therapy. I know there's probably one corner of this house that hasn't been filmed yet.
Listen,
all right?
If you can make it work, you do it. You got to do the best of what you got.
100%.
And like I said, you use a little corner. Oh, that corner with the radio, I didn't use that yet. So we going to finesse that. Yep. That's going to be the next poster right there in that corner.
Exactly. You never know. That might be it.
Yeah.
See? Oh, man. But this is dope. Glad to have you on.
Yeah, glad to be here.
So what you've been doing today already, it's been an adventure. We've been going over a lot of media kit fun stuff, seeing all the stuff that you do, because you do a lot of things. Like you said, you've been keeping yourself busy with, you teaching dance, acting, music. Like what? Oh, you tell me, man. What have you been doing? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So it is June now. It's pretty much the finale of most of the crazy season. Usually in June, I'm prepping for a recital for the dance program that I choreograph. Okay. It is through Angelic Dance Studios. I teach the hip hop classes there, and it's directed by Miss Anais, and she does a wonderful job. And she always puts a recital at the end of the year for all the kids. And then I teach the hip hop little ones. I teach 5 to 8, and then I teach hip hop from 8 to 10, 11, 12-ish. And then I do adults too. So adults can get down with me as well, so look out for that.
Word.
And I've been teaching Sundays consistently, studio at Hoboken. I teach Sundays hip hop, 1 to 2. And that's a vibe too, because I teach everybody how to groove and how to move and kind of just channel that inner kid energy and just kind of just let yourself be and just let yourself go. Like, remember when we used to have those basement parties and the glow sticks are out, I used to be the first ones in the middle of the floor just grabbing people. Like, let's go. We in the basement.
When you were there in those times, do you feel like, did you ever think you would be doing it now?
I think looking back at it, I was like, if I could just do this for a living, like, that would be cool. It would be amazing if I could just kind of just dance and just teach people how to dance too. And I've always loved the arts, just ever since I was a kid, just like with being Disney movies, right? It's a lot of the stars, and then you see them and you're singing along with them and they're dancing and they're doing like the uniform movements and stuff, and that was just so inspiring to me. And when I was growing up and just seeing different movies, Grease and things like that, I was like, they look like they're having so much fun. Like, I want to do that.
It's a fucking vibe.
Yeah, they look like they're having so much fun. They're just jamming and they're being artistic, they're being creative, they're being themselves, and they're just letting loose and just being in the spirit of art. And I was like, I want to be in the realm of that. And that's something that I always loved, and I knew I wanted to do something within the arts, and I want to be engulfed in the arts. So here I am today,
And
just kind
I
of
think it's so dope that you're like teaching kids too,
yeah.
because they don't really, not many children have that outlet.
Yeah. And especially I think now, like during these times where it's just like everything, amidst of everything that's going on, and just the kids being born into not being able to connect to their neighbor, not being able to kind of speak to them without, like the mask and everything like that. And that's kind of uplifting now, but it's still kind of just like wobbly right now. But just thinking back to like when we were kids and just we didn't have to deal with that. We just saw our friends, we were like, what's up? The big hugs. And now it's just they kind of have to stay away and be away from that. And you can tell, it kind of takes not a toll, but you can tell that the energy like between like connecting with one another is different. And they're not as open or as expressive sometimes. And you kind of just gotta like wiggle it out and be like, it's all right. We
try
here.
to get them back.
Yeah. Kind of bring that light in and just bring that openness in that some people they don't feel that as natural, I guess, so it's my job in a way to kind of just let them know and give them a comfortable space. And I enjoy that. It's a process that I love, just being, even with like teaching adults, because when we get older, it's like we lose that part of ourselves too. Like we kind of just have to go into our work, and we just have to shut that thing on, whether you're a parent or whether you're a homeowner or anything, just be kind of like serious. You go to work, you pay your bills, and and that's it. But then we forget to take care of ourselves and to let our kids like run free and be like, you know what? I had a passion when I was a kid. I had something I loved to do when I was a kid. Like, why haven't I got back into that? Or even like, I always liked hip hop, or I always liked just dancing around. Why haven't I taken a class? You know what I mean? Like, and I think more people should be encouraged to do that. And
have you found anyone recently that's like maybe an adult that's just starting it and it's like super new to them, and like, do you know like what are some things that got them to try it? Yeah,
I actually I get a few students in my class that have never taken a dance class before. They've never taken hip hop before, and they never even been in a studio before. So it's fun for me because I know that feeling, because I didn't grow up actually taking dance classes. I learned everything from like watching like music videos, Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, Paula Abdul. The streets teach me.
Let's go.
Word. The streets is the teacher.
That's how it gotta be.
Yeah.
But now you see people actually wanting to like, switch it up a little bit and learn and just become into a studio, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That has to be pretty cool.
It's rewarding. It's nice to see that, because even like in some whirlwind of a way, it's like I never got to have that when I was a kid. I never got to go to classes. Like financially, like that wasn't an option for my family. So now like I'm being able to teach people, just any ages, kids that do have that privilege to be able to go into a studio, or adults that never tapped into that part of themselves and then they're tapping into it now. Like, that's great. And I let every one of my students know, like, you need to clap for yourself at the end of today, because you did something that not a lot of people have the courage to do. So walk into someplace new and to try something new and to take on a challenge and just, pat yourself on the back, because we all deserve that.
Hell yeah. Because that shit is like, it's tough for a lot of people. You know what I mean? Even if you like are comfortable with yourself, or you're maybe an extrovert, doing that and stepping into that lane is definitely very different.
Yeah.
And you guys are going on live and making it fun, and it's always a jam.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Thank you.
What about, do you ever feel like you've noticed people that are more introverts tap into that and it maybe helps them become more of an extrovert?
I think so. That's always a little funny sometimes, like the whole introvert and extrovert thing, because I think every one of us kind of has a little bit of that in ourselves. Like, we have our time that we just kind of be like, I need to be in the house, I need to be relaxed, I need to be away from people. And then other times where we're just like, I need to be social, I need to have fun, I need to party and just live, and do that. So I think when someone comes in and they're kind of shy and they never done it before, you can kind of sense that energetic feeling that you're like, oh, okay, like they don't really know how to react to this because it's new. It's a whole new feeling. It's a whole new experience that they're having inside of them. So it's kind of just like, I let them just go through it and then just embrace those emotions and just give them a space to just be comfortable and make sure that they know that they're okay. They're in a safe space, no judgment zone. There's a lot of people in the room that are in the same space as you, or they're trying, regardless, we're all in a room together, and this is an entirely new experience. Even right now, like as we're in here, like this is an entirely new experience that none of us have ever felt before. This is my first podcast too, everybody.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so this
there
is
she is.
really cool for me.
We got a very special guest in the building. What up?
I love the hair. It's dope. It's cool.
We got Jackie in the building. I love it. Let's go.
Yeah.
We're gonna get you in the hot seat next.
There you go.
She's like, nah. Pull up a chair. I think we might have a chair. But all right. So yes, that's lit. And also, I gotta take a class.
Yeah,
I gotta
absolutely.
take a class.
Come on now, we waiting for you.
I've been trying to learn some bachata for a long time.
There you go. You got.
I know a little bit of the 1-2, 1-2.
Yeah, you know, but the more you keep consistent at something, the better you get. You know, it's with anything.
I tried learning a long time ago, so I'm gonna tell y'all a little story here on the podcast. Okay. So it was like there was this girl, she was Dominican, and I was trying to learn how to dance so I could dance with her on New Year's Eve or whatever. So I started taking classes on the side, dolo, with somebody just to like try to do it.
Aww.
It wasn't enough classes because I just failed miserably. All right, but we were practicing to only the one song, that Promise song by Romeo and Usher.
Oh yeah, I'll give you my heart, girl.
Yeah, that was a vibe, yo. So that was the one I was trying to learn to, and I don't know, like sometimes I hear it, but I don't know.
Yeah, it could be the song too. Yeah.
Maybe got to try with different songs, right?
Yeah. Maybe you need to go like real way back with it. Like, I don't know, some traditional.
Yeah, some traditional ones.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe you'll hear it better.
Yeah, I don't know. Something about maybe like a certain drum or a certain instrument. Maybe the cowbell was hitting different. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You never know.
What do you feel like people learn faster? Have you taught like salsa, merengue, any of those, or no? Because I know you do a lot of the hip hop stuff.
Yeah, I think it really depends. Because sometimes you have people come in from all different cultures and different backgrounds, different environments growing up too. Like your environment obviously influences you, what you listen to growing up. So if you have a lot of friends that you dance a lot of salsa with, or dance a lot of hip hop, or you heard the music, you can kind of like internalize it a little bit or have a groove. I would say I guess maybe salsa. So you could always just rock it with a nice side step. You know, that's always like an easy go-to.
Okay.
I even in my hip hop class, I tell them like, "Here's a little side step." You know what I'm saying?
Give it a little something.
Everybody's seen this before. You know, I think bachata, depending on who you're dancing with, sometimes like, because if you're getting like the partners and they're twirling you and they're spinning, they're doing the fancy stuff with their feet. I even myself, like I be getting lost too. Like it's even salsa too. Like salsa, they be like, trying to flip you and everything like that. I'm like, whoa, take it.
It's like, you're doing a little too much.
Take it easy, you know.
Word.
But it's like an energetic thing too. You know, you got to read your partner. I love dancing salsa on my own. I trained in it for a while and it was fun. It's a great rhythm. So definitely got to tap into it. But you know, I did salsa for almost like 2 to 3 years. I was taking lessons. So, and that was one of those things. They're like, I knew I was going to get better if I just practiced it and kept doing it, listened to it, internalizing it in my body so that my body's familiar with the rhythms too. And then it would just kind of be like subconsciously in there. And then you just let the rhythm take over you, as I like to say.
do you feel like too, especially with a lot of the kids and stuff, do you feel like it's like a form of therapy for them?
Ooh, I know for me it is.
Okay.
For kids, I think so, because I think it's just another opportunity to be present. And I think it kind of goes back to kind of like not really knowing how to express yourselves, but maybe dance is something that you feel completely comfortable with expressing yourself. Like I know for a long time, even growing up, like public speaking, like I was not great at that. Like I think for me, like I rather sing, dance, and act and spin and smile and do everything on stage. But then if you had asked me to like give a speech, I'd be like,
like, nah.
I'd be like, what?
How long did that journey take for you?
I think with consistency too. Like I was always, I started doing plays around like 6th grade, and they were straight plays. And then I got into the whole musical thing. My first musical was in 8th grade. And then in high school, I did all the musicals. And then now I choreograph them. So I think it's just being in that space all the time just made me more comfortable just being in front of a lot of people and just being like, okay, we're like, okay, like I'm still talking, but in rhythm, you know, and like I have
Yeah.
my own like little algorithm or thing that I'm going on, and that's pretty much what it is. It's just you take out a couple beats and then you're doing exactly what you've always used to do.
Hey, and you've been killing us, so keep killing that shit.
Thank
yo.
you.
Also, you be acting too.
Yeah.
That's another form of art that you do.
Yeah.
When I first met you, we were doing Midnight Chaser.
Yes.
All right, so that was really dope. That was a fun. I'll never forget
Yeah.
that role with the fucking fork.
Yeah, yeah.
That
It's
was-
a whole
that was
different
really
thing.
good.
It's a whole different vibe. Definitely different from Christina, for sure.
Oh yeah, that was a whole different vibe than the
Yeah.
Christina role. But then yeah, recently you played Christina in the therapy series,
Yeah.
episode 3. So from that role, like, what was your take from that role, doing that role? You know, how did you feel overall? What are maybe your thoughts on what she was going through? Because you know, there's a lot of people that, and also this is a spoiler. All right, so if you haven't seen that episode yet, go watch it.
Right now.
All right, so episode 3. So what were your thoughts on that for that character?
I think I'll start like when I first got the script and I was going over it. Because I think like growing up, I was like, well, you know what they say, like un poco flaquita, as you know, like the Latinos family say. So I was a little bit like on the thinner side, and my family was always like, you need to eat, you need to eat, you need to eat something, like something's going on. And like when I read the script, I was like, oh, this sounds like my family. They're always telling me, you know, like I'm not perfect the way that I am, or just I gotta do this, I gotta do that. So I related with her like right away. My sister's name is also Christina
Oh,
too.
wow.
So I was like, like
funny.
did they
No, I didn't know.
Google me or something, or like
Didn't know.
are they trying to hit me in the home or at the heart? but no, I read that and I was like, okay, yeah, like I totally get where she's coming from, and it's important to have a support system, and it's important to be kind to people in general, and that's kind of like my whole takeaway of the whole project is that you never know what somebody's going through, and somebody might look like something on the outside, but you still don't know like what they're feeling or how they're, you know, what they're going through in general. And you should just be a kind person in general, you know, since it's hard for some people to understand, but you know, we go through the episode, and when you guys watch it at home, you'll see it as well. You know, sometimes even with family too, the family can be they could put a lot of weight on you, you know, and it's, you got to kind of just rear away from that and make sure that you're comfortable with yourself. I think I remember saying it on our opening night premiere when you guys called me up, that eventually you have to learn how to be comfortable with yourself and just love, you know, as cliche as it is, love the skin that you in and what you have and what you were born with, because self-love is key, and you just got to keep going with that. And I thank you for allowing me to do this role and
No
for
problem.
me to play that, because it was even therapeutic for me to do too, because
That's dope.
I went through that story and I went through that journey, and I know a lot of people out there have been through that too, in any which way or way, you know, whether it's like not liking your hair or not liking your feet or not liking just like your figure in general. But luckily things are changing where it's like we can embrace ourselves, and there is a lane for everybody, and there is some people for everybody, and it's like, but it all starts with yourself. And
Yeah,
I thank you for
100%.
writing that and creating that, and just for us being here.
Word, yeah. All happens for a reason. And, you know, those messages, too, are really important to me as well, too, you know, especially with the family side and all those different things. It's just things that a lot of us all go through that we don't really talk about.
Yeah.
You know, and we think a lot of times that we're alone in those situations, or we think it's like only us. But, you know, showcasing that was really important to me, just to remind people like, nah, like it's not just you.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like we all go through it in multiple different ways.
Exactly. And that's why the series is so important. Just like even with the first couple episodes and so many more to go that I'm just excited to watch and
Word.
just see come to life already. Like, because the world needs this, and the world needs these stories, and to hear these like people play these stories and just see themselves in the screen. And
Oh, yeah.
you're here to do that.
Hey, let's do it. Let's get it. And you already know we had to get her in Times Square.
Yeah.
All right, we had to get her
too.
up.
I was like, what?
Yeah, we had to get her in Times Square.
That's
So
crazy.
we're gonna have to pull up. We're gonna have to take a photo together over
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Because the first night me and Zane went out there,
yeah.
and then we got Matt up there too. So we had to drag Matt out to the city.
Of course.
I want to get one with the whole crew. You think we can get everybody?
Yeah.
You think we get everybody out there, the whole crew out there one
Absolutely.
night?
Yeah, just like tell them it's a surprise.
Yeah, just tell them it's a surprise. Well, they'll know once I
They'll
send
know,
the
yeah.
ad. That'd be lit though. I'll have the whole crew pull up there for one big
Yeah.
ass group photo.
That would be dope. Yeah,
That should
just
be
let me
dope.
know. Keep me, y'all, you got
Word.
the information.
Word. I got it, yo. So, what's some of your goals, yo? What else are you trying to do? Because before we have a topic that we're gonna get into, but I want to know for you, creatively, like you do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And first, I want to commend you for doing a lot of the different things that you do. You know why? Because a lot of times people will, in this journey, people will sometimes try to limit you. And be like, dang, well, you should only do this. Like, I bet you probably have people tell you, like, oh, no, you should just focus on the acting, or you should just focus on the modeling, or you should just focus on this. Like, and I commend you for saying, nah, like, I'm gonna do, a little bit of all these things.
I'm gonna wear all these hats. It's funny. I brought multiple hats today. I was like, do I want to wear a
Hey,
pink one or do
see?
I want to wear a
Let's
black
go.
fedora one? I should bring them out at some point.
Yeah, just keep changing them up every time.
Yeah. This is scene change. That's that theater training. That's what it is. But yeah, I do absolutely get that every now and then. Actually, not so much anymore. I think it's because you start to prove people that you can do all these different things. And in the beginning, when you're first starting out with your journey, you are going to get a lot of those people that kind of shove that doubt on you. And sometimes it's better for you to just kind of keep it in until you release your project or release whatever special that you have going on with you, because then people will still try to taint that. Regardless, it could even be your family. Your family could be like, okay, that's nice. And I'm really rooting for you. And I hope that you're happy. But you just got to stop and you be like, you don't need that. But
yeah, well, what made you like, because has anyone ever told you that? Like, oh, no, you should just try that one thing?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I remember I had a friend of mine that we were doing music together. And so I was like, I do acting, I sing, and I dance. I did musical theater for about 10 years. And I did the whole not off Broadway, but more like traveling theater. I went and traveled and did some theater outside. And somebody once told me they wanted me to sing with them on the side and do gigs, but I had other stuff going on too. Like I dabbled into modeling, and I'm dabbled into like the choreography, and just I love arts. Like I said, I like being engulfed in it, and wherever there's artistic expressions, I'm there. And then that person ended up telling me, well, like, oh, well, you're not going to succeed with your hand in so many pots like that. Like, you just got to do the one thing. The more you focus on that. And it kind of just turned me sideways a little. I was like, I don't know. I don't know if that's just, just like, what? I don't know. Like, for me, like, as human beings, I feel like we are limitless. I didn't think it's more of this like a mindset thing. Like, you have to train your mental that you literally can do anything that you want, and you can shape your own reality if you just believe it to be so. And it sounds cheesy, I know, but it's true. Yeah. Just put your mind to it and you'll see those manifestations grow. And it's like a lot of the times, like, people don't want to think like that because it's been driven into them. So, just for years, and just, generational trauma and things like that, and just tradition and families and friends who grew up a certain way, and then they try to put that on you either. And that's when you got to cut off sometimes even friends, because you're like, listen, like, you got a limited mindset, boo-boo. Like,
yo, get the fuck out of here.
I can't do that. Like, if I say that I'm going to do something.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Get it out of here.
Yeah. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And it might take me, a couple of routes in which ways, but I'm going to figure it out because I want to. And I know that I can do it. So I'm going to do it.
Let's go. When do you feel like in your life, when did you feel like it was working? Like, when do you feel like, because, we all have those, like, moments where we're like, nah, we want to be limitless. We want to keep going. Mm-hmm. When did you start to be like, damn, okay, like what I've been believing is true?
When you put me in Times Square, okay?
Let's go. Yeah. Like, let's go. She's like, we can do both.
We can do both. And it was crazy because I have a friend of mine who's working in the city, and he just came off this amazing show. And I'm like, and I was telling him, I was like, I'm so proud of you. I'm so, so proud of you. And I went to go see him in the city. And I'm like, make sure when you're on the way to the theater tonight that you walk by Times Square and you see my face, homie.
Yes, let's fucking
because it felt good. And we grew up, we did theater together. And we went to the same high school. And we played opposite roles and things like that. So it was nice to see him doing his thing. And something that connected us, like, as friends and, like, kept us going along the way. But, like, he has success in that, and I have success the same way, you know. And it's great to see that, and it's great to encourage your other friends to, like, even though, you know, we're doing different lanes and we're doing other things, like, we're still succeeding and you're still striving in the arts and in the field and just doing your thing, you know. It's a fun thing to see.
And like you said, you know, we're multifaceted, you know, humans. Like,
Yeah.
we could do so many different things. You know, a lot of times people just limit themselves to one thing. And I'm like, yo, one of the best decisions that I've ever made along this journey was doing multiple different things. You know, because especially too, is like, you know, when if you want to talk financially, yo, it's hard sometimes. You know, like, I do graphic design and I do like business cards. Am I gonna sell business cards every day? Probably not. Am I gonna sell a logo every day? Probably not. So you need those different options. I need something else for today. You know, I need something else for tomorrow. You know, like, you should never limit yourself on what you could do to potentially make some money and to what you can learn.
Yeah.
You know, because
Absolutely.
doing those different things, you end up learning so many different, you know, stuff.
And that's a double whammy in itself. Like, if you can learn something new and then also get like money out of it, like,
at the same time,
it's like a win-win. It's like, wow, I'm doing something that I love and I'm also getting paid for it. Like, I can buy a house doing something that I love to do. And there's so many like ways that can twist and turn. But in the end, it just comes to just like following your gut, following your passion, and just never stop. Consistency is key. We need to talk about that for real, because a lot of people need to understand that.
I be saying that shit all the time.
Yeah, consistency is key. And if you keep on doing something, like, don't overwork yourself to the ground, but make sure that you're fueling your passions consistently. And if you're not, you know, giving it all right now, at least take a couple minutes a day to just fuel that fire. You know what I'm saying? Just add a cup of coal in that, just to watch it grow day by day by day, you know? It's like, like bricks, you know? You know, it's like when you build a brick, maybe you don't want to build the whole house today, but at least you lay down a foundation, and at least you put that there, so that eventually you step back into it. You're like, oh man, I have a whole wall now. That's cool.
Yeah.
You know, you don't even think about it, because you keep on doing it, and then
you keep building.
Yeah. And then eventually the universe just gives it right back to you. All the work that you put in, it just comes back to you without even asking for it, because you put that energy in there and you put in that work. Word. And then you receive.
That's one thing I was talking about with Javi about before. Didn't I tell we always talk about consistency, you know? And I'm like, yo, I was like, every time that you're not consistent, it's like you're just putting a pause.
Yeah. Putting a pause on your business, on your life.
That's it.
That's a great point.
You know, it's just a pause. We out of here? Boo! I'm not gonna boo you on air. Maybe I'll edit the boo out. We'll see. Nah, but
she's like, I'm on my way to follow my dreams.
Yeah, she is
inspired.
Actually. Yes, literally. But yeah, you got to be fucking consistent out here, because that's what I've really noticed too. Is the people that are consistent are the ones who get shit done. And then if you're not consistent, you're just putting a pause on the things you want to do.
It's true. It's true. It's a mentality. It all goes back to that mentality. You have to build a strong winning mindset and a kind of just not a tunnel vision, but like just like a laser focus and what the end goal should be, and just have that in your mind and have that visioned out. And then you're like, okay, well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get to that goal. Okay, cool. Like maybe I'm taking a twist and turn this way, or maybe what I planned didn't exactly work out, but I know what's for me is going to pop up, you know?
Yeah.
You know, as they say, I think what's for me will never pass me. That type of thing. And I kind of look at things like that too, because you could have a plan to make it all the way to where you want to go, but sometimes it doesn't go that way. No. And you have to adapt, and you have to just go with the flow and just never give up, even though it doesn't come out your way. Just be like, okay, you know what? It's not going to work out this way. I'll find another way. Not force it, but I'll keep going this way, and I'll trust what's going on right now, and I'll trust the process. But I know where I want to go, and that's key, that focus.
Yeah, because that's the part is, like, I always tell people is be consistent, but also remember that you're going to have a fucking rocky ass road. Yeah. Still. Like, this shit ain't easy. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not easy at all. I be telling people, I'm like, yo, this shit ain't easy. Yeah. Like, getting a job is like what people should do. Because this entrepreneurship shit isn't easy. Like,
no, it's not. Even like, let's say, like, the pandemic, like the entire arts world was shut down.
Yeah, no one was doing nothing.
And I was dancing in my room. I was like, listen, I can't do anything out there, but I'm gonna make sure that I have at least 5 or 6, 7 choreos to pop out when the world opens up again. You
Let's
know
go. Talk about it.
You know, and then that's what it was. And I would post myself dancing too. And then I got reached out by studios like, hey, do you want to do like a virtual class? I'm like, yeah, I want to do a virtual class. Yeah, we're all sitting at home and just, you know, waiting for the next thing. We might as well just dance all together and rejoice and just have fun and do something different, you know. And that's when I first started, you know, that the whole realm of virtual classes and Google Chats and Zoom started like popping up, and everybody started meeting up on the computer now. But yeah, and then eventually that built into or manifested into like being in a studio and teaching in a studio, and then that opened opportunities for choreography, and then that opened opportunities for like doing other things, and that's what it is.
Fucking beast. Yeah, we need another gunshot for What are you trying to get into? What's some of the goals you have for the next couple of years?
Oh man, let's see.
Do you want to do more acting at all? Do you want to get more into more film stuff at all? Or
Yeah, I'm absolutely open to that, and I think that's what it is. It's like I'm open to a lot, and I'm like artistically, and I'm open to challenging myself. You know, even doing like another role, like a horror role or something like that, something like a zombie or something. Maybe that's not the pivotal point, but it will be one of those things. I'd be like, I'll do that. You know, just to say that I did it. You'd be like, yeah, I played a zombie, and I played some crazy like girl with a fork, and I played.
You never know. Maybe she turns into a zombie in part 2.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, you never know. Spoiler alert.
Exactly. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, so I think I'm just open to stuff because I took a break from the whole musical theater for a while. I was doing it for 10 years, but I definitely wanted to get my feet wet in other lanes, and I was like, okay, so I did. I started with, I think, like once the pandemic started clearing out and everything, I started teaching, and then I started going into choreography, and then I started working with music videos, and then we got to work together on the series as well. We got to do a podcast. Hey.
Let's go.
So yeah, I'm just open to whatever God's ready to give me. You know.
No, well, I have a series coming up. Drop a little name. I know you saw it. Because you noticed on the Instagram, it's called Just Dance. That's the name of the next series we're doing.
Yeah.
So might have to need you to, help with some choreography.
I got you.
But it's a little different dance than what you're probably thinking of. So I don't know.
Okay.
It's gonna be a little left.
Okay.
We're taking it to the strip club, Avi.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah, it's gonna be a series involved in the strip club called Just Dance.
Okay.
But it's gonna have a little fuse from a little regular dance as well too. So we can't talk about too much on air about the story. But you never know. All right. You never know.
Exactly.
So we have a topic here that I want to we'll close out with.
Ooh.
It was actually Zane's topic. It sucks that he's not here.
We gotta put the boo button on that.
Yes,
Or
boo.
congratulations, you played yourself.
He was like, I'll call in. I sent him the Zoom, but I think he's on the way back from Sandy Hook. He was at a gig.
Oh, okay.
But the one he sent was, can we talk about how healing makes you become uninterested in liking everyone and everything?
Oh. Run that back again.
Yeah. Can we talk about how healing makes you become uninterested in everyone and everything?
That's so true, for me at least.
It is, right? Why?
I think it's because the person you were before the healing happened, during that process, your consciousness changes. Mm-hmm. So the same, at least for me, it's really big in food as well. Like after COVID, well, like 2020, 2021, I can't eat the same things that I used to eat before. I can't do the same things I used to do before without feeling like out of place, hang out with the same people. I just view the world differently. Yeah. So I could definitely see how that's a big thing.
Nah, absolutely. I think that's true for a lot of people too. It's like bodies changes, people's change, just the energy, how they took the whole pandemic and lockdown of the world in general too. Like that, a lot of people didn't do well, and a lot of people were able to push through it. And like I said, like I think everyone has to go through their own process. And if that means, like self-isolation, or if that means like I just got to focus on my spirit right now and just what I need to do. It's nothing personal, but I just gotta figure it out, because if I could figure it out, I could be a better friend, I could be a better partner, I could be a better daughter, son, or cousin, or human in general.
Yeah. 1,000%. A lot of people had to do a lot of healing through that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it wasn't easy. And I'll always go back to like the mindset too. Like you have to keep it strong. And this, if the pandemic taught anybody anything, it was to don't plan, I mean, you can plan, but there's sometimes that there are things that are not going to go in a way that you think they might. And yeah, I feel like everybody right before the pandemic had like their ultimate plan. Like everybody was on a rise, and they're just like, yeah, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. Then,
yeah, womp, womp, womp.
We closed the doors. Like we unlocked down.
But like you said, it's how you adapt to those things.
Yeah.
Because, everyone always has plans and stuff, but you got to be able to adapt. You got to be able to make that switch. Like, okay, we're not doing that. We're going to do this.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes it happens. Even when you're driving, right? There's a rock in the road. What do we do? You're not going to go over it, right?
Yeah.
You're going to swerve.
You got to just swerve, yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say even with this though, it says like, so how healing makes you become uninterested in like everyone and everything. I think that's so fucking true. Because once you start like healing yourself, you start realizing like there's a lot of people out here that are not healed.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who are just not.
Yeah. No, it's true, and you gotta take care of yourself, and you gotta make sure that you're protecting your energy as well. Like I had this conversation with a friend the other day actually, that even though people like they could be your family or they could be friends that you grew up and that for 10 years, and you start seeing them switch up, and you're like, you might not understand it at first, but it's like it's one of these things that is like maybe they're going through something too, and maybe it's not something personal, but maybe they just need to figure it out. And it's not so much as like I don't want to deal with you anymore, but I want you to be healthy, and I want you to take care of whatever you got going on. Just know that I'm there to just serve you with love, whenever you're ready to receive it, or whenever you're ready to be here and talk it out, then that's all you could do is just be there and just be a good person. And
oh yeah. Everyone's a lot of times in different lanes too. Especially in like their healing journey or whatever, or just what they're going through. Because some people could be going through like a mess at one point, and maybe you just got over your mess, and that's okay. Yeah. But just sometimes, you have to remember that even with friends and family, sometimes like that shit could get exhausting sometimes on the other end. Yeah. If like you've healed over something that they're going through and they haven't healed through it yet. Yeah.
And then you end up draining yourself more just because you're trying to bring that person up, and you're trying to bring that person to the light, and they just want to drag it down, or they just want to stay in that mindset zone that they don't want to push forward. They don't want to heal. They don't want to grow. They don't want to change, and they don't want to break through that cycle. And if that person doesn't want to go through it, then you just gotta let it.
Yeah, you can only do so much for somebody. You can't force them. You can't force them to drink the water.
Exactly. That was right in my mind. I was like, can't force the horse to drink the water.
100%.
Yeah.
Javi, I think we got to get you on the podcast soon.
Homie.
And we got to get Jackie on the pod.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe not today, but soon. Y'all do though for an episode.
Yeah.
I feel it should be like a group thing, so like everybody could like have their own little.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
No, we actually do have to do a group one soon. Yeah, we got to do a group one. Actually, soon the next group one, it was me, Zane, Imani, and then the women were Pam, Cassandra, and there's a girl, Jessica. We actually have to plan that.
She's new to you guys, right?
Yeah, I brought her on twice. She's pretty good, right?
Yeah, she's pretty good. I like her talking.
Yeah, so we're going to get her back. What's up? Yeah. Yeah, she made a song dissing Capricorns.
Yes.
So disrespectful.
Joe was hot in his chair that day.
Like, who makes a whole song just dissing Caps?
Word.
And then she called it The Cap.
The cap.
Cap heard us.
Yeah, she got hurt.
I gotta hear it.
Yo,
He said
no. I'm joking. I actually thought it was a good record. It was.
I ended up calling him like, yeah, Joe, I don't think I think we're gonna have to.
Yeah, cancel this pod. Don't put it out.
Yeah.
Nah, it was a good
I
record
don't know how I'm
though.
feeling about you, homie.
Shout out to this record though. It was dope. I just caught that very off guard because usually Capricorns don't be getting the hate like that.
Well, I think Moneybagg Yo just released a song about like Scorpios too or something like that. I was just like, whatever.
Now there should
You
be like
know?
an album out there somewhere that just has every song is just dissing a different horoscope sign.
Could you imagine? And then people will really walk around unhealed, not knowing what to do with themselves. So they'd be like, "Oh, well, I can't be with you because you a Virgo. I can't be with you because you a Sagittarius. I can't, you know."
Do you all believe in that though? Do you believe in like the signs and all that?
I think it definitely has influence on who you are as a person, but I don't think you're limited to being that.
Okay.
That makes sense. Like, I think you'll see like a lot of people's risings, right? It's like kind of just like what they come off of. Like if you if you're like an Earth rising, like you'll see that they're dressed in like greens, or they're very like bohemian like kind of patterns, or they're they have like solid colors, things like that. Like in that, like it can come to play, you know. But in other cases, you know, like you might not know somebody's sun sign, you know, which is like their main sign, based off of how you're talking to them, because their Mercury, which is communication, that might be something completely different too, and that's how they speak. I forget what mine was. I think I'm a Sag Mercury or something like that. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah. That means we are back. We are back from a quick commercial break. All right, but word people, do your healing. All right, yo, my phone does not stop today.
He busy man.
Nah, my phone does not stop. But we're good. We're gonna keep rolling. But yeah, so people do your healing. All right, if you haven't tried to do your healing, start that process. Yeah. Because then the people that are healed or in the process of even trying to heal themselves, they can notice it. You know,
this is true,
and it's interesting in like the whole, because I think where that question was really going was especially as far as like in dating and stuff like that. Because a lot of people, I guess, when they go through that process after that, they don't want to date nobody.
Yeah,
you know, because if they feel like, you know, many people haven't been healed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, and it's not something that's really drilled in us, right, as we grow up either, right? And I was talking about this with a friend as well, with family, and like our grandparents, we didn't really tell our parents, you know, like, oh, you need to heal before you have kids, or you need to heal before like you go on in life and do everything. No, it was just like, no, you're 18, you're out the house, you get a kid, you have a family, you go to work 9 to 5. You do this, you pay for some bills, and then you die. You know, like there was in no realm of that was there really like, hey, you gotta take care of yourself and make sure that you're good before you bring humans into the world, and make sure that, you know, when they are here, you're not just like yelling at them and just like treating them with like, you know, discernment, and you're treating them with love. And same thing with partners too, like, and that kind of carries on too. That's where the whole like generational trauma comes in, where you don't know how to handle your emotions and you're throwing them on the other person, and then the other person doesn't know how to react, so then they react a certain way, and then you just got a bunch of people just yelling at each other and barking at each other, and then they carry on that to the next relationship. But a lot of times, like, you don't take that time to actually heal from what you got to do. And you got to take care of yourself, because you're going to manifest and you're going to attract everything that you are putting out, basically. So if you're putting out anger, and if you're pulling out like mixed signals and things, that you're going to receive that right back. And I don't think a lot of people really know that until they really in with themselves and they really focus on what they need to do for themselves.
Word. And like you said that too, I don't think, you know, like our parents and generations before, I think we're one of the first generations to probably like really tap into it.
Yeah.
Like,
that's true.
It's crazy, because if you ever look back on how a lot of our parents were raised and how their family was raised, and it just was very different. Do you think social media has any reason to that?
I think so. Absolutely. I think there's a lot of it. There's a lot of drama-filled pages and social media, like things that just, like pages that just start problems, like period. Yeah. Like, you know, just that and it goes, you know, even with the zodiac thing too. There's people that always want to be like, oh, such and such signs are like this, and then you have a whole bunch of people talking about that. And then just not having conversations too, like, you know, the whole like look at the people's phones thing and like the scrolling and what you have on your feed and stuff. I was just telling Jackie, he's like, even when I was going through my personal process of cleansing, like I like to take out things that like I don't need. Like if I'm like following pages and like they're not resonating with me anymore, I just like take it off. And it's nothing personal. It's just like I don't align with that either anymore or at all. Or you know, it doesn't make me feel good when I open up my phone, you know, things like that. You want to make sure that those things are there and that you're filling your environment with good and positive things so that you can continue to on that energy throughout the day. And not everybody does that, you know. Some people think like, oh, it's not a big deal if I listen to a song that talks about girls like that or guys like that. I'm like, no, it is a big deal, because then you're bringing that into your relationship thinking it's okay. And you're not even acknowledging it, because it's like it's subconsciously driven in your head to treat women like that or to treat men like that or vice versa. Yeah,
you don't realize that you're actually being aware to it without you even focusing on it.
Yeah.
And I do think though, like at the same time, we have a lot of those things with like the whole social media and everything. I do feel there's also a lot of benefits from it, and I do feel we are for the most part very more self-aware and educated because of it. Because you know back then it was really just what was on TV. And it was like the library. Yeah. So it was like, who was really, there was, you know, how many people were really actively looking for a lot of the stuff that we talk about in today's day and age in the library? Like it was all there in books or whatever, but not many people were really looking for it. And in school, they taught what they taught. Yeah. And your TV, they showed what they want to show you.
Exactly.
You know, we're the first generation now to have the access to it right in our faces. You know, people are doing podcasts about it. People are making memes out of these things. They're actually talking about it, you know? So I think that's, if it wasn't for that, I don't know, I feel like it would have been kind of like sheltered and kind of hidden from us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
A lot of that knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like what you said was perfect. I think we weren't open to that. And now that we have the access and the freedom, like as adults, we can kind of do that work and we can kind of ask these questions. Well, not kind of, but we are asking these questions and we are starting conversations like we are now. Whereas like back then, yes, they had like podcasts, but it was very like, sometimes they were limited and sometimes content was like not like a lot of like media and like programs, like they were governing, I feel like programs more, or they were like cutting out certain things and like they were limiting people from saying something. Like I don't know if you ever saw like that famous like Michael Jackson interview. He's like, I hate touring. He's like, no, but you got to say that you love it. And he's like, but I don't. And then they cut off like the like mad takes later. He's like, I love touring. And he's just like laughing. He's just like, you know what I mean? Like, and I think that's you know, now we can just say what we got to say, like unfiltered, and you know, it's freedom of speech and it's beautiful, you know, if you use it the wise way. And yeah, we need to continue that on to the generations and make sure that, you know, everyone's seeing this and make sure that we continue on that work.
Hell yeah. This was dope, yo. Yeah. Thank you for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
This was fun. We gotta have you on more often every once in a while, all right? We gotta get you back for round 2. I already feel it, especially because Zane wasn't here today.
Yeah, it's gonna be a whole different vibe. Let's see where he was going with that question. So
yeah, I dig it. We'll probably dig more into it the next time he's here. But anything that you think is slept on out there that many people probably don't know about? Yeah. All right, what do you think? Because that's usually what we'll do at the end of the show is, you know, something that you think is slept on, something that you feel like not many people know about.
Be limitless. Be limitless in everything that you do, and keep consistently growing and consistently doing the work for yourself and following your passions and not listening to the voice of fear and the voice of doubt, because it's important to you as a person, as a soul and a spirit, and as being on this earth to continue pursuing your passions, to create art so that you can inspire the people that are going to be beside you, and maybe you're teaching them, and you might even be teaching or next to like the next leader of the States or just somebody in the realm that's going to be working with you side by side. So be kind in general. And that's, you know, it goes back to like the episode that I did as well, is be kind to the people because you never know what they're going through. Be limitless in who you are, be creative, have fun. Don't overthink. And stay focused and consistent in your work. And yeah, keep watching Therapy Without a Degree.
Hey, let's go. I love it. Yo, that is some real shit, yo. Be fucking limitless. Like don't limit yourself. And what I would say at the end of this, just to close it out too, like what I think is really slept on is also just doing the things that, you know, you really love and enjoy. And sometimes it's even as a hobby. You know, you don't necessarily always need to make it and turn it into like a business or entrepreneurship, but like even just, you know, like you were mentioning about dance and they haven't maybe done it since they were a kid, or people have never done it. Like, yo, if you like that type of stuff, you know, just because you're a grown adult, go find time to do it. You know, don't make an excuse, oh, you don't have the money, you don't have the time, there's kids, all this and that. Just find the time, you know, because, you know, life is really, really short. And one day you're not going to have that time to do it. You know, either by yourself, maybe you won't be able to do it, or you might not have other people to do it with, or the person you want to do it with, they might not be here, you know. So you just never know. So just those little small things in life are sometimes the most important things. Amen. So, and other than that, today was June 28th. So I'm just going to say shout out to my mom. Rest in peace to her in heaven. Today she would have been 61. Wow. Yeah, 61 years old. So I'm going to dedicate this episode to her. And other than that, I think we out of here. All right. Princess is over there ready for her nap. She's already knocked out. She's like, yep, I'm going to go to sleep. And I'm going to go deal with more car stuff.
There you go.
Other than that, this was fun. Susan, thank you so much. Yes. All right, go check out everything that she's doing. Go follow her. All right, or else. Shout out to Javi.
Or I'll come to your house with a fork.
Yes, exactly. All right. And if you don't catch that reference, go see fucking Midnight Chaser.
Yes, Amazon.
All right. Yes, go peep it. Shout out to Javi on the camera, on the ones and the twos. Yes, shout out to Jackie Sound Speed. Yes. Let's go. We out here, people. Bye. Deuces.